Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. At 11 p.m., the apartment was quiet, except for the soft tapping of my keyboard. I sat at the dining table, finishing the last section of a report I needed for a promotion meeting on Thursday. I was tired, but focused. That was when I heard the click of a wine glass on the counter. Gloria had been drinking since dinner. By the third glass, she was pacing. By the fourth, she was angry at anything that breathed. "Greg," she said, leaning against the wall, "do you even see me? Or do you only see that stupid laptop?" "I'm listening," I said, still typing. "No, you're not." She crossed the room, her steps loose. "You never are. You sit here every night with your little reports and your big dreams." I didn't bother responding. I'd learned months ago that silence worked better than arguing. She let out a short laugh, sharp and bitter. "You know what? Fine. Let's do this." She stepped closer, stopping right beside my chair. "Look at me." I looked up. She smiled, slow and deliberate, a smirk. "I slept with my boss," she said, "James Harrison, and I'd do it again." Her voice didn't shake. She said it like she was telling me she bought a new pair of shoes. I kept my face steady. "When?" "Oh, please. Don't pretend you're surprised." She waved her hand. 7 months, maybe 8. I lost track. She tilted her head, studying my reaction. "He's decisive, ambitious. He knows what he wants." "You?" She scoffed. "You're comfortable, Greg. Safe. Predictable. I'm done waiting for you to become someone." I closed my laptop slowly. "And now?" "Now," she said, folding her arms. "I want space. Maybe divorce. I'm moving on. I'm finally choosing someone who matches me." "All right," I said. She blinked. The lack of reaction threw her off. "That's it? No anger? No yelling?" "I heard you." She shook her head, frustrated. "You're unbelievable." Then she stomped toward the bedroom and slammed the door. Once the lock clicked, I reopened my laptop. My report was done. But that wasn't the file I'd been working on tonight. When the bedroom door locked, the whole apartment went still. I sat there for a moment, letting the silence settle. Not to calm down. There wasn't anything to calm down. I'd suspected the affair long before 11 p.m. arrived. Her confession wasn't a surprise. It was a confirmation. I opened the folder buried 3 layers deep on my laptop. Gloria, James documentation. 7 weeks of collecting everything I could without tipping my hand. Hotel receipts from 2 cities she never mentioned. Corporate travel logs that didn't match her late nights. Screenshots synced from the shared tablet she forgot I had access to. A voice message her boss, James Harrison, left her at 2:14 a.m., slurring through what he wanted to do again soon. 2 bank transfers labeled as consulting reimbursements, even though Gloria had no consulting role. Piece by piece, the pattern had formed. I didn't enjoy any of it. I just documented and waited. At the top of the screen sat a draft email. 4 recipients: Gloria's company HR director, their compliance officer, James Harrison's board chair, and my firm's senior partner, Leonard Price. Simple subject line: professional misconduct report, supporting evidence attached. There was no dramatic message, no emotion, just facts, dates, and attachments. I read it one more time, making sure every link worked, every file was clear. No extra words, no accusations without proof. I hovered over send. I thought about Gloria smirking at 11 p.m., confident I'd sit here broken while she packed for her new life. I clicked the button. The screen flashed. Message sent. For a minute, I didn't move. Then I shut the laptop and leaned back in my chair. My hands weren't shaking. My breathing was steady. My chest felt lighter than it had in months. Gloria thought her confession was the final punch. It wasn't. I opened my laptop again and gave the work report for the promotion meeting a final polish. This time, without distraction, it only took minutes. By the time the sun started to rise behind the buildings, my inbox had filled with unread messages. The replies had already begun. At 6:40 a.m., I heard the bedroom door creak open. Gloria stepped out slowly, moving like someone trying not to wake a house that was already awake. She glanced at me sitting on the couch. "Greg, about last night." Before she could finish, her phone rang. She froze when she saw the caller ID. "HR, corporate office." She hesitated, then answered with a shaky, "Hello?" I watched her face drain from tired to terrified in seconds. What? No, that can't be right. A pause. An investigation? Into what? Another pause. James is… what? Suspended? She swallowed hard. I… I'll come in. When she hung up, she stared at the floor for a long time before looking at me. What did you do? I told the truth, I said. You sensed something. Her voice cracked. I can see it in your face. I didn't raise my tone. I sent everything I found: travel logs, transfer records, screenshots, the voicemail. Her lips trembled. You went through my things? You synced your tablet to our shared cloud account, I said. You forgot to turn it off. She pressed her hand to her mouth. Greg, they're saying James misused company funds, that he violated policy. They're dragging me into this. You dragged yourself, I replied. I could lose my job. You might, I said calmly. They don't take favoritism and secret payments lightly. She shook her head, pacing in circles, trying to grasp something solid. You ruined my life. No, I said. You did that when you thought sleeping with your boss was an upgrade. Her knees wobbled and she gripped the counter. We can fix this. We can talk to them. You can tell them… I'm not covering for you, I said, and I'm not staying in this marriage. She blinked fast, tears forming. Greg, please, we can figure something out. No, I said. Today, you're packing. I want you out by tonight. Her phone rang again. Different caller, different department. She didn't answer. She didn't need to. The shockwave had already hit. Greg, she whispered. What happens now? What you earned, I said. The consequences. She slid down onto a chair, staring at her shaking hands. The day had only begun. By late morning, I was already downtown, sitting across from Leonard Price in his corner office. He had the email I sent open on his screen. He didn't look angry. If anything, he looked relieved. You handled this cleanly, he said. Quiet, documented, straightforward. James Harrison was a problem our firm couldn't touch without proof. He tapped the screen. Now we have it. I didn't do it for the firm, I said. I know, Leonard replied. But it's still the kind of judgment I expect from someone ready for the next level. I gave a short nod. There wasn't much to say. He briefed me on the client fallout, which was contained, then told me to keep my phone on later in case HR from their company reached out for clarification. By noon, I was back home. Gloria was sitting at the kitchen table, elbows on her knees, staring at nothing. When I walked in, she flinched. Greg, can we please talk? Just 5 minutes, please. We will, I said, after the movers finish. Her eyes widened. What movers? As if on cue, a knock at the door sounded. I opened it, and 2 movers stepped in with empty boxes and a clipboard. No, she whispered. Greg, no. Come on. This is our home. It's my lease, I said. My name, my payments, my account. I've already spoken with my attorney. She looked like the ground tilted underneath her. You already planned this? I had to prepare for every outcome. Tears spilled down her cheeks, but her voice rose. You can't kick me out. I have nowhere to go. There's a hotel room booked in your name for 3 nights, I said. After that, you'll need to decide your next step. You want me to disappear, she said, voice breaking. I want peace, I replied. Her phone buzzed again. She didn't check it. She already knew the pattern. Missed calls, urgent emails, people demanding explanations she didn't have. Greg, I made a mistake. You made repeated decisions, I corrected. She covered her face with both hands. Please, don't divorce me. Not yet. Let me fix something before everything is gone. It's already gone, I said quietly. And the divorce papers will be filed tomorrow morning. The movers stepped past us, heading toward the bedroom. Gloria didn't stop them. She just sank into a chair and whispered, I can't believe this is happening. But it was. And it wasn't even close to over. When the movers reached the bedroom, Gloria asked me for a moment alone. I didn't argue. I followed her inside and shut the door behind us. She stood near the window, arms wrapped around herself. Greg, I need you to listen, please. Just this once. I'm listening, I said. She took a long breath. I'm sorry. I know that doesn't fix anything, but I am. I didn't respond. I wanted her to keep talking. He made me feel important, she said, her voice soft but strained. James kept telling me I was sharp, talented, overlooked, that he could help me get to the next level. And I believed him. Her lip trembled. I thought it was harmless at first. It wasn't, I said. I know, she whispered. He said he cared about me, that he'd leave his wife, that he wanted a future with me. She let out a small, humorless laugh. But this morning, HR told me 2 other women filed similar complaints last year. They settled quietly. I wasn't the first. No, I said. You were just the most recent. She wiped her eyes. They suspended me, effective immediately. They said an NDA might be offered, but it won't be generous. Everything I built there, it's over. I didn't soften. It ended when you crossed the line with him. She stared at the floor. I know you saw the bank transfers. They're calling them inappropriate gifts. They're investigating whether I knew. You did know, I said. You just didn't care at the time. Her shoulders shook. Greg, I swear I never meant to hurt you this way. I thought James was serious, and I thought you'd always be here, even if our marriage was slipping. That's the problem, I said. You treated me like a backup plan. She finally looked at me, really looked. Is there anything I can say that would make you stay? No, I said. A long silence followed. The mover's footsteps outside the door sounded like a countdown. Gloria swallowed hard. Will you at least tell me where I went wrong? You didn't go wrong, I replied. You went elsewhere. She closed her eyes, a single tear sliding down her cheek. I opened the door. The conversation was over. So were we. 3 months later, the apartment looked nothing like the place Gloria and I shared. I replaced nearly everything. Sofa, curtains, dishes, even the rug under the dining table. Fresh slate, clean lines, no reminders. The space finally felt like it belonged to one person instead of 2 drifting ghosts. The divorce had gone through faster than I expected. Gloria didn't fight anything. She didn't have the strength, and the evidence was stacked too high to argue. Her fallout hit hard. A week after she moved into the hotel, her company fired her. The termination letter cited policy violations, conflict of interest, and unreported gifts from a superior. Word spread faster than she could hide it. No firm in the city would touch her. She tried applying out of state, but HR departments talk more than people think. Last I heard, she'd taken a job at a small logistics office in Arizona. Basic admin work. Nothing close to her old career trajectory. She moved in with her older sister to stabilize. She emailed me once to say she was trying to rebuild, but I didn't answer. James Harrison's downfall was louder. He was escorted out of his company the same week everything exploded. An internal audit confirmed misuse of funds and multiple boundary violations. His wife filed for divorce within 10 days. Rumors said he was now consulting for a small startup that didn't know any better. His name in the industry was done. While their lives fractured, mine steadied. The promotion I'd been preparing for at 11 p.m. the night Gloria confessed? I got it. Director of Accounts. Higher pay, actual authority, an office with a door. Small things that felt big. I met someone through one of our cybersecurity audits. Maya Lin. Smart, straightforward, very little patience for drama. We started getting coffee after meetings, then dinner once in a while. Slow, no pressure, no mess. One evening, while she reviewed a report beside me, she nudged my arm. You know, you don't have to keep looking over your shoulder, she said. You're allowed to move forward. For the first time in a long time, I believed her. 6 months after the night everything cracked open, I stood inside my new office on the 48th floor. It felt nothing like the life I'd lived before. It felt earned. Behind me, Maya set 2 coffees on the table. Nervous? She asked. A little, I admitted. Good. Means you care about getting it right. Tonight was our pitch to a major tech client, big enough that securing them would reshape our department for years. I reviewed my notes one last time. Everything was tight, clean, no wasted lines. She brushed a small crease from my sleeve. You ready, Director Hendricks? I smirked. Greg is fine. Tonight you're the guy everyone's looking at. We headed to the conference room, and the pitch went smoother than any I'd led before. Clear questions, sharp answers, no hesitation. By the time the client shook my hand and said, "We'd like to move forward," I knew it was another turning point. When the meeting wrapped, Maya and I walked out into the cool evening. She nudged me. You realize you just signed a deal that triples your division's revenue? I'm aware. And you're pretending it's no big deal. I'll react tomorrow, I said. After sleep. She laughed softly. You're impossible. As we crossed the street toward the parking garage, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but curiosity won. The text was short. I heard about your promotion. I hope you're doing better now. Gloria. I didn't stop walking. I didn't reply. I simply deleted the message and slid the phone back into my pocket. Maya noticed my expression. Everything okay? Yeah, I said. Just closing the last door. Outside the garage, the city lights reflected in her eyes. You know, she said, you handled a disaster and managed to come out on top. That takes strength most people don't have. I just did what I had to do. You rebuilt your whole life. For the first time in a long time, the next chapter didn't feel like recovery. It felt like momentum. 2 months later, I boarded a flight with Maya to San Diego for a conference where I'd been invited to speak. My name was printed on the program, Greg Hendricks, Director of Accounts, and seeing it there struck me harder than I expected. 10 months earlier, I'd been sitting in the dark waiting for an email to send. Now I was stepping into rooms I never thought I'd enter. The first night of the conference, after a packed panel, Maya and I walked along the waterfront. Do you ever think about her? Maya asked. Sometimes, I said. Not with anger. Just clarity. What kind of clarity? That she didn't destroy anything. She just exposed what wasn't working anymore. Maya nodded. Makes sense. I checked my phone, habit more than need. A single unread email sat at the bottom of the inbox. From Gloria. All it said was, I'm starting over. I didn't delete it. I didn't reply. I just closed the phone and set it aside. Later that night, standing on the hotel balcony, I thought about the strange symmetry of life. Sometimes the biggest break comes from the moment someone thinks they've trapped you. Sometimes the start of everything is disguised as the end of something else. At 11 p.m., Gloria told me she'd slept with her boss. And I didn't crumble. I prepared. I acted. I rebuilt. Now I understood something simple. I didn't regret a single move. Every choice, every document, every step away from her, every step toward something better, it all led here. A version of myself I actually recognized. My story wasn't about betrayal anymore. It was about the moment I stopped letting someone else write it. Thank you for watching.